Hi, so my name is Chloe, and this is a performance, so there are some built-in silences, and I really encourage you to use those and engage with the pictures and how they make you feel and how the words make you feel. This is a place where you can watch storms develop for hours before they break over you. Here, the forest is a marble palace of black-streaked birches, lenticels open like eyes over shiny ferns. A lawn stretches, an ocean compared to the small green pool suburbs of your birth. The looping hill you used to sled down has become a long driveway, straight like highways and bridges. The night is dark, vast and terrifying. The moon is your streetlight now. Thankfully, it is enough. This is your origin. She is encased in glass, dusty and lived in, still living. This is her office, her laboratory, the mansion of a mind filled with so many stories. On her bench, she vivisects family history, literature, worldly tragedies, and personal troubles. She cradles the breathing guts of the world as she once cradled you. Even when you build stone walls around yourself, tumbling and terrible, she waits. When they finally crumble, she is there, dirt under her fingernails, in her hair, and yes, in her coffee as well. You learn to let yourself down, bury yourself, offer rides to bikers in the rain, lend out your car when your neighbor needs, and the difference between weeds and plants growing where you don't want them. This is the tree you fell from, and a sibling apple. Tall and quiet, he is as close to a tree as human can get. He is enmeshed in the earth, risen out of the moss you made into your pillow. Each leaf is a page in his library, hidden adventures in their fibrous veins. He reads them to you sometimes. And this is life's difficulty for us young women. An apple seed is often unlike the parent tree, and you are a seed in the same way your mother is a seed, and her mother was a seed, and so on. Your father is always the tree. And your brother, he is the tree too, grafted on under the sure hands of your mother. With this murky realization, you sprout. I started in a greenhouse. My roots are the tendrils that broke as each ancestral seedling was pulled from potting soil. And these roots go deep, grow strong. They made it here, didn't they? I am still here, aren't I? My mother and I will always be safest under the lilacs where a patch of wild mint grows. We are like the mint. Pull up a sprig and the roots rise up, making new tendrils out of forgotten little bits. You know I share a last name with my father, not my mother. Healing comes in with the storm, that slow gather from across a body of water. This has always been home. I know it in my roots that become solid bones. I know it like I know my origin, my mother and my father, and yes, my brother as well. After all, scarification results in rigidity. I started in a greenhouse, under hot sun, but I grew in the deep night, in velvety dark and soft dreams. My mother is incense now, the recognition of an origin, a spark, point of heat and light. I am smoke, a particle in a trail. My father is tea, slow and steeping, calming, too hot, too cold, too lukewarm. I am flavor. My stems turned to branches when I buried myself. I bloomed, a magnolia, night tree, soft and delicate petals. I come from traditions and cycles of blooming and dormancy that lead into and out of the wormy ground. In the winter, my leaves fall. I am fragile. I am fallible. The storm is icy and unforgiving, and yet it is home. In the night, the moon is a street light, and thankfully it does not drown out the porch light. In the snow, in the dark, the porch light is enough. I am cycles. In spring, each bud that forms at my fingertips is somebody I know, somebody that is part of me. Here is my mother. Here is my mother's mother's mother. And there, a gift, my mother's father's mother. Nobody talks about the dark cloud in our roots, tendrils that broke off in my brain that flow and sap from my father's roots, knots and cracks that line my branches and my brothers and my uncles and my aunts. I am all of this. I feel my family in the smell after it rains or before it snows, when there is dark earth on the palms of my hands, the snap of peas and splashing in pond water, I am myself in the shade and in the hot sun, in squishy mud and under strange oceans. I am lilacs and peonies. I am gardens, I am cycles. I have found myself in nature because I am nature, all that is force, wind and water. I have felt storms break over me for hours, and in the turmoil I have known that I am home, that storms are hurtful and healing. I grew in the night, a place of darkness and, yes, sometimes loneliness, but I exist for the day, for breaking light, for soft places and shadows. I live in shadows and window panes. A cultivar is a plant lineage. It is an origin and an endpoint. Well, a to be continued, really. In the garden and the greenhouse, a cultivar lingers. In the midnight gloom and shining dawn, they persist. So here I am.